Happy Wednesday. Yes, I said Wednesday because I have Wednesdays off, so it's my weekend. My name is Lene. This is vlog number 2. Welcome. Today is June 20th, 2018, and I'm actually here. I have my guitars here in the background. This is my acoustic, and this is my, don't want that to fall. Okay, I think we're good. This is my bass here. This is a Fender jazz bass, which you probably won't be able to hear. Well, more about me. I'm into music. No, I'm not a professional. I would love to be someday. So if you're in a band looking for a guitar or bass player, I just might be what you're looking for. I don't know. Well, I wanted to come back and, talk to you a little bit, just tell you what's been going on with me. Um, I uploaded my first video yesterday. I decided to share it because I'm sure in fact, I know there are people out there who are, experiencing what I'm experiencing right now, and maybe, I might be able to help in some way. I don't know, but yeah, so let's get started. I wanted to talk a little bit about my growing up. I was raised in a military family. My dad was in the Navy, and we traveled quite often in the early part of my life. I was born in Orlando, actually. I have no memory of living there because I left there when I was only a few months old. From there, we went to Iceland and lived there for a few years. And my first memories are of living in Iceland, believe it or not. That's all I knew until I came back to the States when I was about 4, and we lived in Key West for a few years, which is where I started school, elementary school. And I did that. I went there from kindergarten through 2nd grade, and Key West back then was actually a pretty nice place to live. It was small, not a lot of people. It was expensive, although I didn't really notice at the time because I was a kid living on a naval base. But the schools were really good. They always had activities for the students going on. The schools down there had a lot of money, I'm sure. But I enjoyed, going to school there for the most part. From there, we moved up to North Florida when I was about 8, and I noticed the difference in the kids in North Florida versus South Florida. It seemed like the kids in North Florida, they were more, into fighting and, picking on people. And I didn't really experience that as much down in South Florida. So, I kind of had a hard time dealing with that because I was always considered different, and I was always reminded of how different I was. And I can recall times where, I would want to, play kickball or football or softball during recess. And I remember I was in the 5th grade, and the boys would always play football at recess every single day. And I was able to play the first day of school. And after that, they wouldn't let me play with them anymore. Go figure. And I didn't really like playing with them because a lot of times they would cuss a lot and, just say things that I didn't really like to hear. So I started playing softball with the girls, and it wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed it. I did that, all of my 5th grade year. Then I went on to junior high, and I dealt with a lot of racism, violence there. A lot of the kids weren't very friendly. They weren't very nice to me. And I wanted to be popular so badly during my 7th grade year, but it ended up backfiring on me in a bad way. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So by 8th grade, I was like, okay, the heck with it. I'm just being, me, by myself. That's how it is, and I'm accepting it. So high school, I wasn't really picked on as much in high school. No, I wasn't popular. My grades were okay. Um, After that, I have a list here that I'm actually using. I went off to college. I started out, in college. My first couple semesters weren't really going very well. I went to a community college, and after a year of college, I decided to join the military. I was in the Air Force actually for a very short time. And after that, fast forward about 2 years later, I went off to college in New England, in the Boston area. And I ended up getting a bachelor's degree there. I was interested in music production, so I earned a 4 year degree in that. It was one of those for profit schools, so I won't mention the name, but I had some good experiences there. I ended up on a platinum selling album, actually. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Death Cab for Cutie. I was actually an intern at the studio that they recorded part of their Plans album, which was released back in 2005. And in one of the songs called Different Name for the Same Things, they actually mic'd the fire that I built because I was an intern. So some of my responsibilities were building fires, sweeping floors, doing things like that. So they ended up using the noise from the fire, and I think the first minute and a half of that song. So if you go back and listen to that song, you'll hear the fire that I built, that they used in their song, and that album ended up selling over 1 million copies. So that's my fire. I never received credit for it, but that was me. That's my claim to fame right now. But I do write my own songs. I'm working on, getting them recorded. I don't have, a lot of recording equipment. All I have really is my laptop right now. But I still want to do music for a living. I've tried everything else. I've tried the corporate setting, office jobs. None of that seems to work out for me. So I'm pursuing music now, and I'm also working a full-time job in hospitality too. But yeah, today I actually went out and I got my ear pierced. I've had this one pierced for a long time, but I figured, part of my transition would be having both ears pierced. I got 2 holes in my left ear when I was really young. I was about 18, and my dad flipped out when I got the second hole. He didn't like it at all, saying, you could be saying that you're something that you're not. And I said, no, Dad, that's the other ear. And I'm 18, so I didn't have to ask anyone's permission to do it. Eventually, he let it go, but I would like to just wear one in each ear. I don't want to overdo it with my ears. Like I said, I'm not into the tattoos. If that's your thing, then fine. But I want to present myself differently. But yeah, that's pretty much what I did today. So, it's one step closer to my transition. I'm looking forward to my appointment coming up, which is July 3rd. So in about 2 weeks, I'll meet with the primary care doctor. But I wanted to read something to you. I recently finished a book called Becoming Nicole. Let's see. So this was in the book. It was a quote from the philosopher Charles Taylor. So here it is. Each of us has an original way of being human. Each person has his or her own measure. There is a certain way of being human that is my way. I am called upon to live my life in this way, and I am not in imitation of anyone else's life. But this gives me a new importance to being true to myself. If I am not, I miss the point of my life. I miss what being human is for me. And that really stuck for me. That really stuck out. So I took a picture of it and I kept it. But I think that's pretty interesting. That's definitely how I feel now, especially at this point in my life. And about 2 weeks ago, I actually wrote a poem. I was practicing on my guitar, and I ended up dropping what I was doing because I felt, inspiration struck. So I wrote this poem down that I just came up with. It's called Feminine and Free. Here goes. Feminine and free. Feminine and free to truly be me. Feminine and free is how I'm meant to be. It's all I see. Feminine and free is how I feel. I am strong, resilient. Oh, sorry. I'll have to start over. I think I went wrong somewhere. I apologize. Okay, we'll start again. Feminine and Free by Lene Marie. Feminine and free. To be truly me. Feminine and free is how I'm meant to be. Feminine and free, it's all I see. Feminine and free is how I feel. I am powerful, strong, resilient, feminine and free. Feminine and free lives within me. It feels so good to be feminine and free. For all the days of my life, I will live feminine and free. And that's it. I like it. I wrote it, and I'm sharing it with you now. But I just wanted to come back and make a second video, and it might be a while before my next one. I'm still new at this, so I'm kind of, just trying to get everything in order and improve as I go along. So bear with me. Until next time, to all a good day, and God bless, and don't be a stiff.